Last video, I promised you an update on the egg carton carrot experiment. I will show you that today. I also want to give you an update on the spinach experiment. That did not go without some drama. And because it's spring, we're going to sow some sugar snap peas. The carrot seeds were sown February 28th. A week later, they began to germinate. Today is March 20th, and this is what they looked like 2 days ago. The weather looked good for the next few days, and I didn't want to risk the taproot hitting the bottom of the egg carton, so today was a good day to transplant. I wasn't planning to grow carrots at all this year, so there's no room in my garden beds. So I'm doing this experiment with two 10-gallon grow bags. It was important at this time to remove the bottom of the egg cells to make room for the taproot to go through. I started with scissors, but soon realized just using my fingers was probably a quicker and better solution. Each of the grow bags was filled with 1.5 cubic feet of raised bed garden soil and a half a bag of perlite. The carrot seedlings had been hardening off for the past 5 days, and I gave the carton a good soaking before this transplant. I moved away some of the soil to make room for the egg carton and carefully tucked in the soil around it. I didn't want to disturb the seedlings. Now it was time to thin out the seedlings so that there was one seedling per cell. I didn't want to pull them and disturb the roots. I wanted to cut them off at the soil level. That takes care of the transplant part of the experiment. For the second half of the experiment, I directly sowed seeds in 2 concentric circles in the second bag. I will come back and thin as needed when the seedlings have their first set of true leaves. It will be interesting to see if the egg carton carrots reach maturity faster due to their head start and if I get good-looking carrots, or if the directly sown carrots will catch up. Time will tell. After sowing the seeds, I gently covered them up with about 1/4 inch of soil and watered both bags well. Here's a close-up look at what the seedlings look like in the egg carton. It's important that the seeds and the soil in the other bag do not dry out, so I cut a piece of cardboard and placed over the top. I will update you as the season moves along, and we'll see how this experiment progresses. Now to the spinach experiment, where I wanted to know if I could start seeds indoors and transplant them out while directly sowing seeds right next to them. This would give me a good comparison of the two methods. I want to be completely transparent about this. Out of the tray I sowed with 2 to 3 seeds per cell, only 1 seed germinated. After 2 weeks, I tossed the tray, purchased fresh seed, and I tried again. 2 weeks later, I had another single seedling. I could not explain what was happening, but it was now time to harden it off and get it ready to transplant. As you can see, I now have several more seedlings. These germinated during the hardening off period when they were exposed to cooler temperatures, cooler than my basement, where the temperature hovered around 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's too warm for good spinach germination. That was a huge learning experience and one I'll not repeat next season. So I transplanted the 1 seedling, and I'll wait another week or so for the other 3. I put a little organic fertilizer in the hole I prepared and on the surrounding soil and worked it in before I transplanted. There was a smaller seedling in the cell that I wanted to transplant, and I pulled it out. You can see the length of the taproot. That's what you don't want hitting the bottom of the cell and wrapping around. Because there's no real root ball, it's very fiddly and difficult to get the seedling out of the cell without the soil breaking up. I did the best I could. I then prepared to direct sow the spinach seeds in the area right next to the transplant. I poked holes in the soil using my finger as a dibble, going down about 1/4 of an inch. I then took a handful of seeds and carefully dropped 2 seeds in each hole. I then covered each hole with about a 1/4 inch of soil and patted them down to make sure the seed had good contact with the soil. I then gave everything a good watering in. I'll keep you updated as the season moves on, and we'll see how this experiment progresses. And now it's time to sow my super sugar snap peas. These are being directly sowed along the north side of this large 8x8 raised bed. I'm sowing the peas 2 inches apart in 2 staggered rows, with the rows being about 1.5 inches apart. I'm using my finger as a dibble, making a hole that is about 1.5 inches deep. I've grown snap peas in this bed every year, and they've done very well. These are going in on the north side so that they don't shade the potatoes that will be sharing the remainder of this bed. By the time the potato plants really get going, the peas will be about finished. I do not use an inoculant, nor do I soak the seeds beforehand. This method is one that just works for me. Once both rows are in, I'll give them a good drink of water and ensure the soil remains moist while they germinate. My soil in this raised bed is now at least 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so this is the right time to sow my peas. So that's where things stand in the garden right now. The carrots are in, the spinach is still a bit of an experiment, and the peas are sown. Next week, I'll be planting potatoes. So until then, enjoy the garden.